Good morning, everybody. We have a sharply lower trade in the grain markets here early on Friday morning. It is 6:30 a.m. Central Time. May corn futures down 9 1/4 at 540 and a half. May soybeans down 24 cents at 1383 and a half. May Chicago wheat is down 11 and a half cents at 664 and a quarter. May Kansas City wheat down 13 cents at 639 and a half. The spring wheat contract off 5 to 6 cents. Yesterday's export sales report was disappointing. I think this may have been the catalyst for some of this weakness here. Old crop corn sales of only 453,000 were a marketing year low. That number was down 55% on the week and down 85% from the prior 4-week average. Old crop soybean sales of only 168,000 were down 63% on the week and down 72% from the prior 4-week average. China canceled a very small amount of both crops, and unknown destinations were responsible for some larger cancellations. So I think that was kind of a red flag for these markets. I did a podcast and a YouTube video yesterday regarding yesterday's export sales report. I'm not going to say it's the end of the world for exports by any means. As a matter of fact, I think that the prospect of cancellations or switchings or just a drastic decline in export business was largely expected for a lot of traders. This really should not be a surprise when we've got this big South American harvest coming up. Drought remains in place across much of the western U.S. I'm going to put the drought monitor on the screen here from yesterday. This is the updated version, and of course, I mean it's kind of looked similar for several weeks now, but it's still kind of working its way to the east. But your key areas that I think we're concerned about here for the moment would be the Dakotas, southern Minnesota, western Iowa, certainly all of Nebraska's in big trouble. Northern Kansas, western Kansas, the Texas Panhandle. These are areas that have been in some stage of drought for months now, and it really has not got much better. And when you look at the forecast, what's expected here, this is total accumulated rainfall, or the expectation for total rainfall between now and March 14th, so essentially through mid-month. And most of those same areas, the Dakotas, really not a ton of relief. South Dakota, really nothing at all, being forecast. A little bit of maybe say southeastern Nebraska will catch some rain, northern Kansas, western Iowa, maybe a little bit of relief. So the story here is kind of going to remain the same, I think, to a significant extent. Now, your central and eastern areas of the Corn Belt are not going to have that problem. They've got plenty of rain in the forecast, but these drought issues continue across the northern plains, through the mid plains, and southern plains, definitely. In some of the other headlines here this morning, we have a hot and dry week in Argentina expected, and that's something that could potentially hurt corn and soybean yields. The grain exchange down there said that the forecast for the coming week could negatively impact late planted corn and soybeans. The exchange did, however, keep its estimates for both crops unchanged at 46 million metric tons each. USDA, for comparison, most recently pegged the Argentina bean crop at 48 million and the Argentina corn crop at 47.5 million. Fund traders remain heavily long the grain markets. At yesterday's close, private groups estimated that funds were net long 357,000 contracts of corn, 164,000 contracts of soybeans, and 26,000 contracts of SRW wheat. So if you have a shift in sentiment, if attitudes start to change, if there's some bearish news that arises, there is plenty of risk of liquidation, as has been the case for a long time. We'll see an updated CFTC Commitment of Traders report this afternoon. Today is first notice day for March grain futures. Keep that in mind. In the cattle market, we saw some losses yesterday. We saw some cash trade come in 113 to 114, which was pretty much on par with last week. There really was not any significant change week over week just yet. We'll see what develops here today. The box beef market was lower in the choice boxes. Select boxes were up just a little bit. In the outside markets, we have a mixed trade in the stock market, but it's off quite a bit for the week. There's been a little bit of a correction underway in the equities. We've got the gold and silver down this morning. Gold's down about 16 bucks. Silver down sharply as well. The U.S. dollar is sharply higher. It looked weaker just yesterday and the day prior, but a little bit better here today. The bonds are up sharply. There's been a lot of volatility in that bond market here recently. Crude oil is down $1.23 at 62.30 in the April WTI contract. Remember, guys, if you need some more information from me, as always, go to my website. It is www.standardgrain.com. Go to that website, click on Grain Marketing Plan here in the upper right-hand corner. If you would like to know what I'm doing every single day of the week, I send out an email every morning at 6:30 a.m. Central Time every business day, and I'll let you know what the important overnight headlines are, everything you need to be aware of that day, all my grain marketing recommendations, all sorts of interesting charts and graphs and information. This is really a great deal. It's $49 a month, billed to your credit card automatically. You can cancel it at any time. There's no obligation. There's a text message service that comes along with that, and also kind of a consulting piece. So, if you're a farmer, you have, say, a cash grain contract that you need some help with, or that you don't understand, or something in the futures market, I'd be happy to help you out with any of those issues. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. I will talk to you Monday morning.